Hello everyone, and welcome to Mechanics in Minutes, a series where I help you learn the many mechanics of Path of Exile. In this video, we'll be covering Betrayal. Betrayal is a mechanic first introduced as a challenge league in patch 3.5 of 2018. In this league, several notable exiles of Rayclast have gone missing, here one day and gone the next, all of them never to be seen again. But where did they go? Rumors are many and contradicting, but one thing the stories have in common is a name: the Immortal Syndicate. In Betrayal, you play the role of a detective investigating the Immortal Syndicate, a mysterious organization that sprung up at the same time as when exiles started disappearing. Coincidence? I think not. With the help of Jun, the Veiled Master, players can seek out members of the Immortal Syndicate, find them hidden within fortifications, out in the open transporting supplies, or conducting research at secret facilities. Beat its members into submission and you'll be given a chance to interrogate them to gather intelligence on leadership, alliances, and power struggles within the organization. Collect enough intel and you'll discover the location of a safe house which can be raided for rewards. But be careful where you go looking, or the Immortal Syndicate might come looking for you. The original implementation of Betrayal was not without controversy. Players enjoyed the depth of the mechanic and the strategy involved in role-playing a detective to set up rewards. However, the Syndicate encounters were universally considered to be over-tuned. At that time and to this date, the intervention encounter was unavoidable and forced unsuspecting players into a kill or be killed situation, often resulting in bricked maps and frustrated exiles. Despite the backlash, Betrayal was immediately implemented as a core game mechanic. Today, you might randomly encounter the Immortal Syndicate in Act 9. Upon getting to the endgame, Betrayal is categorized as extra content and has a chance of naturally occurring in your maps. In an investigation, details matter, so let's get into the nitty-gritty and talk about the mechanics of the Immortal Syndicate. At the core of Betrayal is the type of encounter. This can be categorized into divisions. There are 4 divisions: break through barricades and neutralize defenses in fortification, disrupt supply chains and cripple resources in transportation, prevent the destruction of classified documents in research, and fight for your life when blindsided by an intervention. A map containing the Betrayal mechanic can have up to 3 encounters. Intervention and research are guaranteed, while the third can vary between transportation or fortification. Each encounter contains at least 1 member of the Syndicate. These are unique enemies you have to defeat in order to complete the encounter. Syndicate members may be accompanied by reinforcements. This includes other members of the same division, rivals and allies from other divisions, or any member that has not been assigned to a division. Successfully doing so will give you the option to talk to the Syndicate member. Here, you can pick between 3 options to collect details for your investigation. The leftmost option is Interrogate. This will demote and imprison the member to gather intelligence towards their division. Use this to progress the investigation towards finding a safe house. The option in the center is Release. This will let the member go as if nothing happened. Use this if you want to complete an encounter without progressing the investigation. The rightmost option is Variable. Execute members to promote them within the organization, bargain with their freedom in exchange for rewards, or convince them to betray another member. Use these options to strategically move members up, down, or across divisions. Execute is the most common option. Bargain only appears if there's 1 member in the encounter, and Betray only appears when there are 2 members in the encounter. The outcome of Bargain and Betray is random. You may be given an item, asked to move members between divisions, or even retire members from the Syndicate to make room for new ones. There are a total of 17 members in the Immortal Syndicate. However, the organization only has room for 14 members at any one time. This means that 3 of the 17 possibilities are sidelined. Bring a member in from the sidelines by retiring a current member. As mentioned before, you can do this via the Bargain and Betray options. But why would anyone want to do this? To answer that question, we need to look at the reward structure for Betrayal. Rewards can be found in the living quarters of Safehouses. Gather enough intelligence and you will be able to raid a safe house. Each division has its own safe house, and the rewards vary depending on who is assigned to that division. For example, let's take a look at Tora, the color. Tora is a ranger that is a member of the Immortal Syndicate. When assigned to transportation, her reward is your pick from a random assortment of gems. When assigned to fortification, her reward is a chest full of gems with quality. When assigned to research, her reward is a one-time use crafting bench that adds experience to gems. And when assigned to intervention, her reward is an assortment of Harbinger Scarabs. With 17 members and 4 divisions, there are a total of 68 variations for rewards. We won't be covering each one of these possibilities, but I will highlight a few that I think that are useful. Tora, the color, provides gem experience when placed into research. It, that fled, provides the Breachstone bargain crafting option when placed into research. Gravicius Reborn provides a full stack of divination cards when placed into transportation. Leo, Wolf of the Pits, provides currency orbs when placed into fortification. And Janus Perandis provides stacks of currency shards when placed into fortification. There are 63 other reward possibilities. A full list can be found on the official Path of Exile wiki, or check the description of this video below for a link to a reward room cheat sheet that I have made. Also affecting their rewards is the rank of the Syndicate members. Higher ranked members will offer better rewards when their division's safe house is raided. Higher ranked members also provide more intelligence when interrogated, as well as better outcomes from the bargain and betray options. A member that is completely stripped of their rank becomes unassigned from their current division. These unranked members can be assigned to new divisions in future Betrayal encounters. This is incredibly important information for anyone who is trying to move members around the investigation board. We've talked about a lot so far, so let's take a quick pause to summarize what we've learned. There are 4 divisions: Fortification, Transportation, Research, and Intervention. There are 17 members, 14 are active, and 3 are sidelined. Retire active members to make room for new ones. Each encounter has 1 member guarding a division. This member may be accompanied by reinforcements. Defeating the member presents you with 3 out of 5 options. These options are Interrogate, Release, Execute, Betray, or Bargain. Collect intelligence to raid safehouses. The rewards vary based on who is placed where. High rank members give more intelligence and better rewards, while no rank members have more freedom of movement. Now that we have the basics out of the way, let's talk about safehouses. A total of 100 intelligence points is required to raid a division's safehouse. The area level of the safehouse is determined by the highest level of betrayal encounter you've completed for that division. Each division has a leader. You can demote a leader by imprisoning them, causing the highest ranking member of that division to take their place. When you raid a safehouse, all of its members are stripped of their ranks and unassigned from their current division. The leader of the division is exempt from this rule and can be interrogated instead. Unlike regular interrogations, this does not downrank the leader and instead generates intelligence towards the Mastermind's Lair, which is the boss fight of the Betrayal mechanic. The level of the boss encounter is determined by the highest level of safehouse that you've completed. A total of 100 intelligence points is required to raid the Mastermind's Lair. A minimum of 3 safehouses must be raided in order to satisfy this requirement. This is because a safehouse with a rank 3 leader can at most provide 48 intelligence towards the Mastermind investigation. But we're here to learn about Path of Exile, not Math of Exile, so I'll leave the numbers at that. Now that we understand how safehouses work, let's talk about the Mastermind's Lair. In this area, you'll fight Katarina, Master of Undeath. She's a witch that's been using necromancy to influence and resurrect the members of the Immortal Syndicate. If you ever wondered why the Syndicate keeps coming back despite you executing them, this is why. The boss fight is rewarding in 2 ways. First, Katarina has a loot table that drops Betrayal exclusive uniques, some of which are valuable. She also has a chance to drop the coveted Veiled Orb, a currency exclusive to Betrayal that is used for endgame crafting. As of making this video, this orb is worth 15 divines in the Necropolis League. Higher level Katarina encounters have a higher likelihood of dropping this valuable item. The second way in which you are rewarded is via reward rooms. When you defeat Katarina, a reward room is generated for every active member in the Immortal Syndicate. Just like in Safehouses, these rewards are based on the division assignments and ranks of the members. As a bonus for a job well done, all the reward rooms are elevated by 1 rank. This means that a rank 1 reward room becomes rank 2, a rank 2 reward room becomes rank 3, and most importantly, a rank 3 reward room becomes rank 4. This is the only way in which players can access rank 4 elevated reward rooms. Whether you're chasing Katarina's loot table or pillaging the elevated reward rooms, there's a lot of utility, currency, and power to be gained from raiding the Mastermind's lair. Raiding the lair also completely resets your investigation. Intelligence progress for each division is kept, but the ranks and identities of the Syndicate members are shuffled and randomized. So far, we've talked about divisions, members, interactions, safehouses, reward rooms, and the Mastermind boss encounter. That leaves one elephant in the room that we need to address, and that's Veiled Modifiers. As you complete Betrayal encounters, you'll come across identified rare items with a conspicuous modifier. This strange-looking thing is a Veiled Modifier. Give the item to Jun in order to unveil it. Unveiling lets you pick one of 3 random modifiers to put on your item. Modifiers that you unveil are permanently unlocked in your crafting bench and can later be bench crafted onto items, albeit at reduced effectiveness. There are a lot of veiled modifiers. Some are prefixes, some are suffixes, and others are incompatible with similar modifiers that you might find on regular rare items. But what I really want to talk about is signature modifiers. Remember that the Immortal Syndicate has 17 members, 18 if you include the boss Katarina. Each one of these members have their own set of signature modifiers, a full list of which can be found on the official Path of Exile wiki. These modifiers are harder to find, but can provide much stronger bonuses to your items. The signature mods can only be unveiled from veiled items that drop from a particular member. For example, Elrion has an incredibly useful signature prefix that reduces the mana cost of skills. You will only be able to unveil this modifier from amulets or rings that drop from Elrion during a Betrayal encounter. This is another reason why you might want to move members into, out of, or around the investigation board. As I mentioned earlier, Betrayal is categorized as extra content. This means that you can choose to invest into Atlas passives to enhance the frequency, difficulty, and rewards of the Immortal Syndicate encounters in your maps. Let's have a look at some of these passives and where you can find them on the Atlas passive skill tree. Obsessed with Vengeance gives your maps a higher chance to contain Betrayal encounters. Effective Leadership increases the chance of finding division leaders. It also makes Syndicate members drop an additional veiled item. Bribery increases the chance of being offered the Bargain for Items option. I do not recommend taking this passive since it provides no value in progressing your investigation. Pillage and Plunder equips Syndicate members with an additional item and gives them an item rarity bonus. This makes encounters much harder but provides no benefits to your investigation. Do not take this passive unless you are doing some kind of magic find strategy. Test of Loyalty increases the chance of Execute granting members an extra rank. Intelligence Gathering gives 10 intelligence to a random division upon completing a map. This is a great way to progress your investigation if you're killing the map boss in every map. Unlike other mechanics, there is no crafting option on the map device for Betrayal. However, there are a few Scarabs that improve the rate at which you can progress your investigation. The Betrayal Scarab guarantees that your map will contain Betrayal encounters. The Betrayal Scarab of Intelligence gives a massive boost to intelligence gathered in your encounters. The Betrayal Scarab of Reinforcements increases the number of Syndicate members you will see in your encounters. And the Betrayal Scarab of Perpetuation gives Syndicate members a chance to drop one additional Scarab. This one kinda just sucks. My opinion on these Scarabs is best explained by a cake analogy. If Betrayal is the cake of your mapping strategy, then the Scarab of Intelligence and Reinforcements are like milk, eggs, and flour. You're going to have a pretty lousy cake if you don't use these ingredients. With that said, the default progression rates of the investigation are generous. This means that you'll be okay to skip out on Scarabs if Betrayal is just the icing on your cake. Whenever possible, I like to provide contemporary examples of how a mechanic is used by players. This time around, we'll be doing 2 demonstrations to showcase 2 different strategies for running Betrayal. Our first strategy is the boss rush strategy, where we prioritize gathering intelligence above all else. Our goal is to run 3 Safehouses as quickly as possible, and then kill Katarina while ignoring most, if not all, reward rooms. We use the Betrayal Scarab of Intelligence and reinforcements to find more Syndicate members and gain more intelligence in the process. Starting from a clean board, we're able to execute and interrogate our way into running a Safehouse on our 3rd map. We get our 2nd Safehouse on our 4th map, and our 3rd Safehouse on our 5th map. We run one more map to give the Mastermind intelligence a chance to fill up, and then we're off to fight Katarina. From start to finish, this strategy took 6 maps and about 18 minutes to find and kill Katarina. Our second strategy is the reward room strategy, where we prioritize strategically moving Syndicate members above all else. Our goal is to target and run a particular Safehouse. We use the Betrayal Scarab of Reinforcements to find more Syndicate members, but avoid using the Scarab of Intelligence to control the flow of the investigation. In this demonstration, my goal is to have Tora, the color, in research for the Gem XP reward room. We first encounter her at rank 2 in Fortification. We interrogate her to reduce her to rank 1, but she still remains in Fortification. So, we interrogate her for a second time to unrank her, unassigning her from any division. Now, we run maps until she shows up as a reinforcement during the research encounter. Here we can execute her and assign her to the research division, at which point we can rank her up and start running Safehouses. With this strategy, I was able to raid 2 Tier 3 reward rooms and 1 Tier 4 elevated reward room in 10 maps in about 28 minutes, providing me with about 800 million gem experience. To wrap things up, I want to give you one example of how the Veiled Orb is used by players. Disclaimer: do not try this at home if you do not know what you are doing. The Veiled Orb costs 15 divines, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong in the crafting process. Here, I have a nice set of rare boots. It's got some great modifiers, but it's lacking movement speed. We're going to use the Veiled Orb to try and add a movement speed modifier to our boots. The Veiled Orb removes 1 modifier from your item and adds a Veiled modifier. The life prefix on these boots are fractured, which means it cannot be changed. The suffixes on our boots are great, which means we do not want them changed, if at all possible. I used the crafting bench to add a suffixes cannot be changed modifier to my boots. This protects all my suffixes from being modified. When we use the Veiled Orb, it's going to remove the unprotected modifier and replace it with a Veiled modifier. In this case, we get a Veiled prefix, which we then unveil for a chance to get movement speed. And voila! Now we have a fantastic pair of boots with movement speed. Something that is important to know about Veiled Orbs is that they cannot roll or unveil signature modifiers. And with that said, that's it for Betrayal. I'd like to end this episode of Mechanics in Minutes with some advice to stay sane while farming Katarina. Ask not for whom the orb drops. It drops for thee.
Shut up!